I still want to thank you for coming in this big number. And the whole of next week, we will be having a session for response to the State of Nation address. And we'll allow everybody to speak. I have had complaints, I don't see people behind, but now we'll design a formula that they register people, such that even if I'm not able to see you, you should be able to, I should be able to get your name and you speak. At least you need to speak and your voters see you speak. And now that we are going to have the iPads, you'll have all the information. I encourage members, please do enough research for you to come and legislate in this house. Thank you so much. Yes, Locke.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for your communication, which actually aroused my curiosity when you did communicate the availability of iPads. It's one of the mechanisms Parliament adopted is communication and the work of the honourable members. But Honourable Speaker, in the same vein, Parliament adjusted the rules to accept virtual participation of members in the House deliberations. Just before the House commenced, there was, I think, a pretest to see whether the Zoom arrangement is working normally. And I saw a very disturbing picture of a honourable member preparing to participate and appearing in a manner that could easily compromise the dignity and decorum of this House. Honourable Speaker, probably we never had occasion to orient ourselves on the workings of these arrangements, like a Zoom. I would like to implore the whips and leaders at various levels in the committees to try and take through the members how this technology works. Otherwise, we are about to get scandalized, Right Honourable Speaker, if we do not orient ourselves. From what I saw a few minutes back, we could easily wait for a member on Zoom in a very compromising situation, Right Honourable Speaker. I thought I should bring this out today.
Honourable Seungo.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And I want to thank you for the information you have given us about our Speaker. However, the guidance I'm seeking for is from your communication. That Honourable Speaker, as you've stated, some of our youth who went for the Olympics, one of them was arrested because he was found incompetent and was not qualifying for the sports. However, that Honourable Speaker, this younger man, after failing to participate, I think he looked for other means of sustaining his life somewhere else. And indeed, they said he had got lost, he had disappeared, and the other country got him with Interpol, they brought him back to his home. However, as Honourable Speaker, recently I saw the minister of the shadow minister for sports here going to Ginger Road. This person was arrested on arrival. Someone who is deported, Honourable Speaker, has no offense here. And we are wondering if this fellow has given all explanations. Why is he being kept at Ginger Road police station? Is it so, Honourable? And he's kept arrested, yet he came back home. Could we know from the Minister of Internal Affairs, why is this fellow has no offense here? He went to participate. We know what sportsmen go through in this country and how they earn us medals out of their sweat. But why are they keeping this younger man who never qualified? The government failed to qualify this person, and you keep him under arrest for nothing. So, Honourable Speaker, I would seek for your guidance and indulgence. This man should be set free. Let him go back. The mother is crying, parents are crying, What? Yeah? Even then, if he was arrested, why did they arrest him? That's another question, right, Speaker. Why did they arrest him on arrival? Because he was coming back home. The minister should explain this. And what input what was their input in this young man's sports to reach an extent of going to Europe? Thank you, no Speaker.
Honorable members, as you heard from the leader of opposition, if you're going to participate on virtual or on Zoom in the debate, organize yourself. Don't start dressing up when you're on Zoom. So you need to organize yourself like you're going to a quorum. Yeah? You need to be ready that you're going for a meeting, not this business of going on to Zoom because you feel the house is sitting. And then the issue of the young man who was arrested from Tokyo. Actually, that's why we sent the minister to go and find out what happened. We don't know whether the young man was incompetent or whatever, but if the young man has come back home, can the minister tell us the charges that the young man has? Minister of Internal Affairs.
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, I've been guided by the leader of government business on this matter. First of all, Mr. Secretarial was released yesterday. That's number one. And number two, Right Honorable Speaker, the moment you go with the Ugandan delegation and there are visa conditions for your travel, and you got a visa as part of a delegation of Team Uganda, and you behave contrary to that visa, and then you reach abroad, you are deported, the government of Uganda has to follow up on the case to know what was the issue, to question you, and ensure this doesn't happen again. Because, Right Honorable Speaker, what it means, you have seen situations whereby our athletes are denied visas because some go and escape and remain. So that was the issue, and the minister will be coming with a statement that is full in that regard. Thank you.
Honorable
Right Honorable
Taiba, was Mr. Secretary, was he one of the athletes?
Yes, he went as part of Team Uganda.
No, I'm saying, was he participating or he just joined the team?
Right Honorable Speaker, he was among the people sent by government of Uganda to Tokyo. So he didn't go on his own. He was part of Team Uganda. And
I
therefore,
am asking a question,
Yes.
which is very simple.
Yes,
Was he part of the athletics or he was just going to cheer?
he was part of the athletes.
Okay?
Yes.
Yes? Honorable Awogon. Honorable Awogon.
I thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to appreciate the response. But our dear government chief whip must know that we are in a situation of lockdown and things are not normal. When you see people behave abnormally, it is because things are not normal. The president left us and reached out to the family of this gentleman. Look at what was happening there. The girlfriend was being evicted. They are not paid rent. The mother
Honorable
was complaining.
Awogon, let's not mix criminality with the COVID.
So
What we want to know, what crime did the boy?
thank you. I'm taking your guidance.
What
Madam.
was his crime for him to be arrested?
So, Madam Speaker, I do not see any crime committed by this gentleman. He was only trying to look for survival. I beg to submit.
Honorable, right there.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, one of us, Honorable Julius Achon Bua, Member of Parliament for Otuke County, Otuke District, is one of the medalists and currently is there for Olympics. Madam Speaker, this is one of the person who has never been rewarded because his colleagues, some of the medalists have been rewarded, but only Achon who got 2 medals.
Honorable Hillary, can you bring a motion to that effect? Bring a motion on Honorable Achon Obua, for him to get a medal, for him to be rewarded. So for now, we are talking about the young man who got lost, who was deported. He came back, was arrested. Now, can we have a report from the minister?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thought that it is also related to that. Thank you,
No,
Madam
bring
Speaker.
a motion. Can we have a report from the minister and we'll debate on that? And we see what could have happened, why the boy disappeared in that place. Can we have a long agenda?
Item 3.
Madam Speaker.
Item 3 is actually still on sports. You can still talk about it.
Madam Speaker.
Item 3.
Item 3 is on sports. If you're raising on sports, you'll talk on it. Honorable Kabanda, please sit. Then you'll debate. You'll be the first one in the next item.
Item number 3. Motion for a resolution of Parliament to congratulate the men's national basketball and the under-16 boys and girls national basketball teams.
Honorable Santa Alum, you have the floor.
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise under Rule 56 of the Rules of Procedure of the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda to move a motion for a resolution of Parliament to congratulate the men's national basketball team, the Silverbacks, and the under-16 boys and girls national basketball team. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Is the motion seconded? Seconded by Honorable Gilbert, Honorable Ogon, Honorable Asumani, Honorable Asamo, Government Chief Whip. I don't see even the elders is there attached. Honorable, okay. The motion is seconded. Honorable Magogo? Okay. Can you speak to your motion?
Madam Speaker, the motion reads, whereas the men's national basketball team, also known as the Silverbacks, qualified for the FIBA African Cup of Nations Afro-Basket Finals to be held in Kigali, Rwanda, between the 24th August and 5th September 2021, after defeating Morocco. And whereas the under-16 boys and girls national basketball teams also qualified for the FIBA African Cup of Nations Afro-Basketball Finals to be held in Cairo, Egypt, between the 5th and 6th August 2021. Aware that the senior men's national basketball team, the Silverbacks, was initially facilitated by government through the National Council of Sports for the first and second qualifying windows, whereupon they managed 2 wins out of the 3 games played to a tune of $200,000 US. Further, aware that the senior men's national basketball team was not facilitated for the 3rd qualifying window in Morocco, forcing them to borrow $100,000 US to save the face of the country. Noting that all teams, save for the Ugandan team, are already in the camp preparing for the FIBA Afro Basket Final. Further noting that the national ladies team had also earned qualification but forfeited their slot due to lack of funding. Appreciating that the total budget of the team is $177,359 US, and yet the team have put in a considerable effort to qualify and as a consequence promote the country through the continental tournament, a feat only previously managed in 2015 and 2017 for the senior men's team and the junior under-16 Gazalese women team, where they returned second. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this parliament that, 1, this parliament collectively congratulates both teams on their qualifications for the FIBA Afro Basket Finals. The government of the Republic of Uganda raises the funds to facilitate both teams for the Continental Basketball Tournament. And finally, the government of Uganda urgently facilitates both teams to report to come in selected locations to sharpen their preparation for the Continental Tournament. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you, Honorable Santalo. The move of the motion. And the second is Honorable Magogo Moses.
Madam Speaker, may I speak a little bit on the motion?
Okay. She wants to speak more about the motion, so the second, just hold on a minute.
Madam Speaker, I want to start by saying that I'm the manager, Parliamentary Sports Club, and I want to thank you so much for that, and also giving me this opportunity to move this motion. Madam Speaker, in sports, it's very important to encourage and facilitate the players. And in this case, Madam Speaker, I want to congratulate both the national male team and the under-16 junior team who managed to qualify at the African Cup of Nations, the main team after defeating Morocco. And the game, Madam Speaker, will be played in Kigali on the 24th up to the 5th of September 2021. I congratulate them. But Madam Speaker, even with limited funding, the Silverback is ranked among the 11th in Africa, and they have managed to qualify not only once, but 3 consecutive times. That is 2013, 17, and now 2021. Madam Speaker, this is a remarkable achievement which cannot be taken for granted. It's also important to note that, Madam Speaker, our ladies national teams, the Gazalese, also qualified for the Cup of Nations. But unfortunately, they had to pull out because of lack of funding. Madam Speaker, in this era of gender parity, it is very unfortunate that the ladies, because of funding, had to pull out. Madam Speaker, allow me to appreciate the government through the Ministry of Education and Sport and the National Council of Sport for enabling the team to play the first and then the second window. And Madam Speaker, the government facilitated the national team during the first and then the second window. It's unfortunate though, Madam Speaker, that the government was unable to facilitate the third window. I beg your pardon. And Madam Speaker, I want to salute the Silverbacks. When they were faced with these problems, Madam Speaker, they had to be resilient enough and they went and borrowed a total of $100,000 to enable them to participate in the tournament. Madam Speaker, this saved the face of the country from embarrassment. And in that game, they managed to secure victory by beating Morocco. Unfortunately, up to now, this money which was borrowed is not yet paid back, Madam Speaker. I call upon the government that the national teams represented the country very well. They defended us. They lifted the image of the country, and they saved the country from embarrassment. And Madam Speaker, I think it's only prudent for the government to find money and fund our national team. Madam Speaker, I also want to note that the under 16 boys and girls also qualified for the Afro national basketball. But in the same vein, Madam Speaker, their game will be played in Cairo, Egypt. Unfortunately, the team hasn't started residential training. They are still at home, and then they all don't know what is their fate, Madam Speaker. Similarly, in the same vein, the male national team, the Silverbacks, as I've already noted, have already qualified. And in their training camps, they are in their group, they are with Senegal, Cameroon, and then South Sudan. All these other teams are already in their training camps, Madam Speaker, except Team Uganda. Madam Speaker, Team South Sudan is already in the United States of America, fully training and participating and waiting for the tournament. And our Team Uganda, they are still there waiting for the government to facilitate them. Madam Speaker, the under 16 boys and girls who also qualified for the African Cup of Nations in 2019 also did a commendable job. For example, Madam Speaker, in basketball, we managed to have a girl called Maria Najuma, who was voted amongst the top 5 players of the tournament. Madam Speaker and honorable members, this is the potential that Uganda as a country has in sports, which can go a long way to help us to address the issue of redundancy, employment, and so many other things as far as sports is concerned. Madam Speaker, still to mention on that, as I've already noted, the women team also had earlier on qualified, but they did not participate because of lack of funding. And Madam Speaker, it's on this spirit that I request government that when a child performs well, it's only prudent that that child is rewarded. And in this case, it's in sports that we have very many of our young people engaged and participating. And the national basketball team saved the face of the country. I call upon government, Madam Speaker, to find it prudent enough to facilitate this team so that they continue lifting, representing the country as well as other countries are also doing with their teams. Madam Speaker, with this, I beg to submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Long, for this motion on the boys and girls under 16. The seconder. Seconder, you have only 5 minutes.
Right Honorable Speaker and the honorable members, I rise under Rule 60 of the Rules of Procedure of the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda to second the motion on the floor. In my other life, I'm the president of the Football Association of Uganda. So I come from sports and I understand what I'm seconding. Playing at international stage means a lot for our athletes and for our country. These games at this level are on TV live and the audiences are the world. This particular team will be on TV on Star Times for the whole of Africa and Brain Sports for Europe and a lot of worldwide social media platforms. This creates a lot of exposure and opportunities for our athletes, and many of the basketball players have received.
Procedure.
Thank you
Yes.
very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, under our rules, ministers are supposed to attend Parliament, Rule 50. Part of the reason they are supposed to attend Parliament is to answer questions, specific questions.
Members,
and
are you
those-
hearing Honorable Mojo? Today is speaking like a lady.
Madam
And-
Speaker, I have grown. I came here when I was a
Honorable
young man.
Semuju, somebody behind there is not hearing you, please.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Our rules, Rule 50, requires ministers to attend Parliament to answer specific questions, but of course also to attend to issues that keep arising. The Minister for Education, Honorable Janet Kataha,
There is no, in the Minister of Education, we have 3 ministers.
yes, Madam, if you can allow
And
me to raise,
I am aware,
if you can allow me to raise the question,
maybe I
Madam.
can answer you. My office was informed that Honorable Muyingo would be in the House to respond to that.
Madam, the question I am raising is not that the Honorable Mingo is not here. The question I am raising is that this particular minister does not attend Parliament and uses Honorable Mingo as a representative all the time. So I wanted to raise a point of procedure. Whether this Parliament, because he did it in the last Parliament. She came here only once when Parliament demanded that she must be here in person. And she has turned the Honorable Muyingo into a PA. So the procedure issue I am raising is whether we
Honorable
have
member,
we have
honorable
super
member,
ministers who are not supposed to
Honorable
attend
member,
Parliament, and
honorable member,
we'll keep sending their colleagues here. That's the
honorable member.
procedure.
Order.
Honorable member, can you withdraw that statement? Honorable Muyingo is not a PA. He is not a PA. He's a
Order.
honorable minister.
Madam, I said is being used as.
I
And
am
Because the
saying,
Honorable,
Order.
the Honorable Muyingo in Uganda here is highly respected.
Order, Madam
So we get
Speaker.
offended
Madam
when we see him
Speaker.
coming here to answer on
Madam
behalf of
Speaker,
other people all the
order.
time.
Order, Madam
Honorable
Speaker.
Semuju, Honorable Semuju,
Order.
Honorable Semuju, I want you to refer to Honorable Muyingo as a minister, not as a PA.
Muyingo is a junior minister in that ministry.
So-
And my issue was not to offend him, was actually to empower him.
Madam
So
Speaker.
if
So
he's
have you
offended-
withdrawn the
If
statement?
he's
that is a
offended,
PA?
Madam Speaker, I am sorry, but my procedure issue remains. Is Honorable
Yes.
Kataha a minister in another country or Uganda?
We amended these rules of procedure that you can attend the session virtually.
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Kataha Janet Museveni is attending on Zoom.
Madam Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, procedure.
Can I have the seconder of the motion?
Procedure.
Seconder of the motion.
Right Honorable procedure is very important on the
Okay.
government side.
Okay.
Right Honorable Speaker, since we have found the language that my colleague Honorable Semuju has used, very improper, as provided for under Rule 84 of our Rules of Procedure, I move that we expunge his submission from the record of Parliament. Because it is wrong.
Honorable Semuju withdrew the statement.
Yes, but it remains on the record of Parliament, calling a member of Parliament a whole minister, belittling him. I move that we expunge that record from the record of Parliament.
Speaker, you have read the rule. You asked the honorable member to withdraw and did so. That's how we conduct business. So is the chief whip in order to defy your directives in the front of this house?
Members, Honorable Semuju withdrew the statement, so it's not in the record. It is withdrawn from the record.
Right Honorable Speaker, it remains on the order, on the Hansard that he withdrew, but the statement remains. What we want, Right Honorable Speaker, is to ensure that this record is
Honorable-
expanded.
Honorable Basalirwa.
Right Honourable Speaker, I thank you. Right Honourable Speaker, according to our rules, a statement is only expunged if it is not withdrawn. Once a colleague accepts to withdraw a statement, the record will capture that the statement was withdrawn and the member was even apologetic. I don't see how you proceed to ask for the statement which was withdrawn and even where an apology was offered to be expunged. That's not how we operate. So once it would be different if he had declined to withdraw the statement. So I really think that, Right Honourable Speaker, your guidance is in this matter is proper, and my brother, the chief whip, should not take offense. Otherwise, the risk you make is that people will decline to withdraw statements, and the net effect will be that such statements will always be expunged. Now, a statement that has been withdrawn is inconsequential, is stale. You cannot insist on it being expunged.
Right Honorable Speaker, in the 10th Parliament, I remember
Madam Speaker,
there is a statement I
do-
made
I,
and I withdrew it
Honorable,
and apologized.
There is an apology from Honorable
When I
Semuju.
apologized,
First listen to the apology. The apology goes to the minister,
Honorable
government
Taiwa,
chief whip.
Honorable Taiwa, former of FDC, I am your senior. Madam Speaker, I say the the Honorable Muyingo is highly respected, and I am sorry, and I want to apologize to the extent that he may have felt offended by my statement. And I want to apologize unreservedly.
Thank you.
My procedural issue of the Honorable Kataha not attending Parliament remains.
I responded to the procedural matter, and as I've said, any of you can stay at home and attend virtually. Honorable Magogo?
Privilege. Honorable Speaker, privilege.
Right Honourable Speaker.
Honorable Magogo, can we have the motion first seconded? then you
Privilege,
debate?
Honorable Speaker.
Procedure, Right Honourable Speaker.
Privilege.
Honorable Aisha?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As a matter of privilege, Honorable Speaker, I would love to know whether being virtually present is not representative enough, because I don't know why the Honorable Minister who is virtually attending is being represented here by Honorable Muyingo.
Honorable Magogo?
Procedure, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker. Some procedure issue.
some procedure issue. Right,
Honorable
Honorable Speaker.
Sachikubo, can we have the motion seconded? Then we finalize this.
Procedure,
Okay?
it is, right, Honorable Speaker, I beg for your indulgence. I've seen Honorable Santa Alum raising this very motion. And one of the seconders was Honorable John Chrysostom Muyingo, the Honorable Minister of State for primary education. For secondary education, I beg your pardon. But right, Honorable Speaker, the import of the motion itself is offending our rules and the Constitution. It is requesting for the financing of the Starbuck team as the final culmination of the motion, yet the Honorable Minister Chrysostom Muyingo should have been the one to move this, since it even touches on Article 93 of our Constitution, where any charge on the consolidated fund, it can't be the duty of a backbencher to raise the motion on the floor of this House, right, Honorable Speaker. Would it therefore be prudent that instead of seconding, right, Honorable Muyingo rises up to the occasion and take his staff and cause the motion, because at the end of the day, this is fetching on the consolidated fund of this House. Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg for your indulgence that we should proceed in a manner that does not offend our rules in the first place, and even the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, and it does no harm for the minister, instead of playing the back seat, he should take it as his role, since this is the docket, but he's happy to second, but he's not at the same time man enough to stand and be the one to move the motion. Right, Honorable Speaker. we
Order,
proceed
Madam
right.
Speaker.
Honorable Sachikubo, you're debating a motion which is not even yet seconded. Those are issues you raise on debate. Now you're debating in anticipation. Can we have the motion seconded? Then you bring everything you want. And be mindful that the motion, the prayers are not only on the financial. Congratulating a team, a national team, is no harm to this country.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I'd like to proceed by also saying that sports, which is an engagement of over 70% of our population, which is below the age of 30, always gets the meager resources in terms of money, in terms of time, as exemplified here, that the little time we get this parliament to discuss sport, there are more engagements in terms of order and procedure, instead of giving the attention to the cause that the motion is about. I'd already mentioned that this exposure gives opportunities to our athletes and our country, and many basketball players have received basketball scholarships in the country and in the United States, among others. Many schools in Uganda are now offering such scholarships. The success has been achieved under a number of challenges. But generally speaking, on matters of sport, sports as an industry is a 600 billion global economy, standing higher than even the aviation industry as we speak. But Uganda is not partaking on that global economy. Sports is the only unifier for our country, irrespective of the shades of tribe, political affiliations, and religion. Whenever a Ugandan team or Ugandan athlete achieves international excellence, it is the pride of all of us. International teams represent us, represent our country, and it's the national anthem and the national flag. One of the few occasions that cause our anthems and flags to be raised in countries outside Uganda. An organized professional sports industry is a new tax base that would generate a lot of money as it is working elsewhere, and employment opportunities for many youth. It's therefore important, as I conclude, that the government of Uganda addresses, amongst others, the following: acquire, rehabilitate, maintain, and construct sports infrastructure across the entire country of national and international standards. Also to fund national athletes and teams that compete in international competitions representing Uganda, starting from talent identification, development, preparation, presentation, motivation, and reward for excellence. I also wish to bring the attention of this parliament that the sports law of this country is archaic, done in 1964, out of touch with the ordinary challenges, the current challenges. It is therefore also important that once this law is amended, it will create generation of revenues by sports from the private sector, the way it is elsewhere. Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Thank you so much, second of the motion. And I am also informed the president of the federation is here, and some players. They are in the gallery. Can they stand up and see them? The president of the federation is there. Council Seronjoji Nasa and some players. Thank you so much for coming to the Parliament of Uganda. This is your parliament. Honorable members, I now put a question that the motion, I put a question that we debate the motion that has been presented by Honorable Alum and seconded by Honorable Magogo. Honorable Sewungu. Hey.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. I stand also support this motion. Right now, Speaker, I want to thank the Federation of Uganda Basketball Association headed by Council Seronjoji, because basketball in Uganda was very weak. But as we talk now, this game is growing. But honorable Speaker, one of the credits I give to this association is that they have been working out using their own funds to promote this game. This game, when you go to a country like America, it's one of the major, it is one of the main games that bring a lot of money to individuals. However, honorable Speaker, as the FIFA president, Honorable Magogo, stated, the issue of National Council of Sports Act of 1964 has refused to be amended, has taken time, and they have refused to amend it because of the ministers who have refused to bring the bill. Actually, I was in the committee, and I told them that I will bring it as a private member's bill. And right now, Speaker, when I come to your office, kindly welcome my request to bring this bill. Why? We cannot have sports in this country where we are only waiting to go and meet Mr. Museveni, the president, to give offers to sportsmen. Already, right now, Speaker, these members know there's a battle between National Council of Sports and other games because of the 10 billions that were given to FIFA. FIFA says the money is ours. National Council of Sports says this money must be given to us. We share it among all the other sports entities. We need members of parliament to put in money in sports. Sports brings in money. Games give money. Already you can see basketball is giving us success, but they are crippled. They don't have money. Then we have to come here and continue crying. Then you waste the money on other negatory expenditures. Normally I see the president when he's going to State House, the whole of Entebbe Road is full of soldiers. Who is paying them? God knows. Security from Kampala to Entebbe, he has 45 vehicles leading him to Entebbe. State House. That money must go to basketball. It must go for football. That's why we are having our younger men being deported the statutory cause. Because once they are denied, they say the moment I take a plane, I will remain in Japan, I will never come back. Then you bring them here, you keep them in prison over 48 hours. As I conclude and now speak, that we support this motion, give money so that they go and continue bringing us trophies, and we continue giving motions here of good performance has made an input. Yes, I think you might now speak.
Honorable Minister, you've heard about the pending motion that a private member wants to bring. You better bring the motion yourself. You better work on the motion and bring before we allow a private member. Yes, Honorable Angura, Honorable, you,
Timosho.
Dan?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise also to support this motion. Right Honorable Speaker and members, our country has over 70% youth. I think in the spirit of promoting sports and ensuring that we engage these youth who are very unemployed, but also encourage more to join the sports and for the country, promote it internationally, and earn us a better name in the outside world. I think as the parliament, we should stand in solidarity to support such teams, and whatever is required for us to give, we should give. After all, it is in the spirit of promoting Uganda. I beg to move right from speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Dan. Honorable Angura?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I also join my colleagues to second the motion and congratulate the Silverbacks. Madam Speaker, we really need to support sports in this country. We have so many interest groups, especially the youth, who would be benefiting us as a country a lot of revenue when we support the growth of sports. Madam Speaker, as I speak now, we have the Festo Web that was launched by His Excellency the President in Tororo, a team that has been assembled now through a name called Fundi. Fundi team has been invited to Spain, where over 200 scouts from across Europe are going to watch a select team from Uganda here codenamed Fundi, who are going to play and sell this country, not only in terms of earning us revenue, but also raising the flag. Madam Speaker, the team is scheduled to travel in August, but they are now at the tail end of their preparations, but waiting for commitment of funds in order to enable the team move. The organizers in Spain, Madam Speaker, have even pledged to build a fully fledged academy here in Uganda that will help us build talent, promote the sport in order to open the European market and other leading playing countries of football for our young ones from here in Uganda. So, Madam Speaker, when the call from the House and especially leaders of football like Honorable Magogo rise up to speak, the potential is so abundant. We only need as a country to put ourselves in order to benefit from this. But I also want to thank the President. The commitment from the President, especially to Festo Web, is high, but we need to support him in order to see how we can get our talented young ones benefits to this country when our flag flies high. I thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Uncle.
Right Honorable.
There is some.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Feta Geoffrey. I represent the people of Aivu East, Arua District. I have stood here to support the motion because of a few reasons. One, this country has a challenge of youth unemployment. And this youth unemployment could easily be resolved if we fund sports very well. I want to thank the mover of the motion. I want to thank Magogo. I also want to thank the president, who has consistently been rewarding our medalists. However, this parliament has a responsibility of giving more money so that these skills can be impacted in our children. Where I come from, there is a club that stormed this country recently called Onduparaka Football Club. The whole country was following that club because there are so many talents down there, but funding has been a challenge in this country for sports. I therefore want to thank the movers, and I want to appeal to my colleagues that this motion should be supported so that we put more money in sports. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Madam Speaker.
I am shadow sports minister.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I thank you through this parliament to accept this motion for congratulating the basketball team. It has been a hassle for such teams to qualify, yet they hold the Ugandan flag. The money the basketball team used to qualify was borrowed, and since then they haven't yet returned it back. So it's not in good faith for always congratulating these people here when the government has done nothing for their qualification. In 2019, Uganda Cranes played well in Egypt, and when they were back, the president promised them $1 million. Up to now, it has never been seen. So through you, Madam Speaker, I'm requesting this government to stop taking sports as an option. Instead, they take it as a priority. For the 1964 National Council of Sports bill, I'm going to come up with a private member's bill to amend that bill for the good of our sport. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There is Honorable Abe. Okay, after you, Honorable Abe, I'll come to this side.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, my name is Impindi Bumari. I represent persons with disability, but I happen also to be the president of Uganda Paralympic Committee, a national body that is in charge of sports for persons with disability. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to congratulate, first of all, our national basketball team for registering that victory. But I also want to say that there is a lot that needs to be done in the sports sector, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the National Council of Sport presented a budget of 38.1 billion for the financial year 2021, 2022. But that budget was cut down to 17 billion. And later, when they were again cutting down the budgets, it was reduced to 10 billion. Right Honorable Speaker, you will realize that National Council of Sport has 51 federations, and basketball is one of them. So if you allocate only 10 billion to the federation which need to take athletes in different countries for qualification, you will realize that nothing can be done by the federation. This 10 billion that was allocated also has the salaries and other wages of the council. Right Honorable Speaker, next year, 2022, we have the Commonwealth Games. And the Commonwealth Games has a qualification pathway. So different federation has to go through those qualification pathways for them to present teams in the Commonwealth Games that are going to be in Birmingham. But if you see this 10 billion, absolutely the federation can do nothing to qualify athletes. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I think there is a lot of things that we need to do. I want to
Honorable Abe.
Just a minute, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to share with you a scenario which I had where we qualified women with disability for the World Championship in USA, and they failed to go to attend that World Championship because of funding. So I appeal to this Parliament to consider reasonable funding for the sports sector if we are to make this country proud in the sports arena. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Abe.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Lillian Abe. I am the woman MP of Kedgum District. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise up to support the motion which has been moved. And Right Honorable Speaker, before I came to this Parliament, I was the chairperson of the National Youth Council. I can assure you, Right Honorable Speaker, that if the country takes funding of the sports seriously and invest money, we shall be able to address quite a number of challenges. Right Honorable Speaker, as you know, it has been proven worldwide that sports is not only just a game, but it can be a sort of revenue that can support the country and can be another tourism that can engage a lot of income for our country, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I support the funding of the sports sector, not only the basketball, but all the sports activities that take place. There is a challenge that every time we see a successful sportswoman or man, the person has just risen out of the blue like wildfire that emerges out of nowhere. We need to prioritize the issue of funding sports if we are to achieve a better name for our country. If you talk about unemployment today, most of our young people are unemployed. And these positive energies, when channeled through sports and a structured, well-funded sports sector, it can help many young people on ground, are in Kedgum District, Napak, and everywhere who have got talents that when they have where to put these positive energies and the talents, we'll be able to support them and they will emerge world victors. I thank you.
Honorable Polot, Honorable Lanya.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. I rise in support of the motion, but before I go ahead, I would like, Madam Speaker, your guidance. First of all, for us to hear from the representative of the Ministry of Education and Sports, what the arrangements the ministry actually has in terms of supporting this team which we are talking about. Because we may be proceeding here when actually we don't know what arrangements the government has. Because remember, this motion was brought from the back bench. So, Madam Speaker, I seek your indulgence on this.
The member will speak. I mean, the Honorable Minister will speak after the debate. We have Honorable Lanya. Yes, proceed, yeah.
Madam Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Whereas I support the motion, Madam Speaker, picking from the previous member of parliament that has just contributed, would it not be procedurally right to ask from the Ministry of Education what strategic plan the Ministry of Sports has for this country for promoting sports right from national, regional to district level? Madam Speaker, I beg to get that clarification. Thank you.
He is going to give us the plan he has for all the sporting disciplines. So let's first hear from Honorable Lanya, two people from this side, and then we will hear another two, then the minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I support the motion raised by Honorable Alum Santa. Right Honorable Speaker, as the country we need to be very serious on sports. We have so many talented youth in this country, but as the member, we are not taking care of their talent. Right, Honorable Speaker, I would like to raise a very important concern, especially when it comes to the motivation of our talented youth in games and sports. Right, Honorable Speaker, currently we have a team that led Uganda up to the final, Uganda Epos U20. Right now, all the players who led Uganda up to the final, as a country, we have forgotten about them. The case in point, I have the goalkeeper for that team, the boy who comes from Amoro district, from Lamogi sub-county, and right now the boy is being wasted at home. The country has forgotten about him totally. Right, Honorable Speaker, right now we need to start motivating our people. If we are to ask, where are the teams? Where are the Uganda Crane teams? The netball teams? They normally perform so well. Afterwards, we tend to forget about them. Right, Honorable Speaker, let the minister come out with a serious budget. Let the players be followed right from the date up to the time of games. We normally tend to forget about them, and we wait. When the time for games is on, we start looking for them, we call them, we give them very little facilitation. Right, Honorable Speaker, let us put games and sport as one of our priorities in this country. We are capable of bringing so many trophies in this country. I beg to move.
Honorable Ndamira, Catherine. Catherine Ndamira.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm Ndamira Catherine Atwachira, I represent Kabale District. On parliamentary sports, I play netball, I play basketball, and I'm a captain when we go to volleyball. Madam Speaker, this has been a concern in the entire country. Uganda has reached somewhere in sports, but not where we wanted it to be. Madam Speaker, allow me to thank the minister in charge, who doubles to be the first lady. She has pushed us to a certain level, but we still need some more funding. Madam Speaker, allow me to add my voice to appreciate the team that has put Uganda on a highest table. Allow me to appreciate Silverbacks for what it has tried to do, and we are proud of the team. Madam Speaker, Uganda is set to host the 16th Nation 30th edition tournament in Kigali from August 24th to September 5th, 2021, which is only a few weeks from now. But Madam Speaker, guess what? Uganda has not come in. Right Honorable Speaker, I therefore stand to add my voice to urge the government of the Republic of Uganda to raise funds to facilitate these teams for the Continental Basketball Tournament. Right Honorable Speaker, the motion has indicated the current crisis that the teams are facing, that despite their wins, they are curtailed by funding. Right Honorable Speaker, this has affected the whole of sports in Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, It is embarrassing that all other teams are at camp gearing up to play the FIBA Afrobasket finals, but the Ugandan team is not on site, Madam Speaker, due to lack of funds. Right Honorable Speaker, it must be further elaborated that the national ladies team has also qualified. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The national ladies team had also qualified but forfeited their slot due to lack of funding, leaving the men's team to represent the country. Madam Speaker, as a woman, as a lady, I feel so touched. Right Honorable Speaker, it is only $177,359. Government can ably set aside this much for the team to represent this country and make us a proud nation. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mingo. Members, we have some matters of national importance. And then remember, we have Prime Minister's time. You need to get a feedback from what the questions you asked. So can I hear from the Prime Minister? Fadil, after Fadil, the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Twala Fadil, Member of Parliament for Tingei County, Kapchorwa. I raise, Madam Speaker, to support the motion. That, Madam Speaker, sports in this country is one of the sectors that has made Uganda to shine all over the world. I come from the area, Madam Speaker, where most of these athletes come from, the Joshua Kiptegei, Kiplimo. You know, currently they are now in Tokyo. I know soon they're also coming with medals. Tomorrow they are running. So, Madam Speaker, funding of sports sector in this country needs to be really fast-tracked so that we improve on the sports sector. Like, for instance, sometimes when these athletes are training, they also call upon our support as members of parliament. Like, you can find most of the athletes when they're training, they even lack the training kits and so on. And not only that, Madam Speaker, as we look at supporting the sports sector, also the Tertiary Altitude Center needs to be fast-tracked because this field started in 2014 and up to now, we have not yet started using it. So as we are supporting the other side, we also support the whole sports sector in the whole country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, members. One thing I need to remind you on issue of sports, it does not know political parties. It is sports that bring everybody together. It is more of a mobilization tool. So if we are talking about sports, we are talking about how do we mobilize our youth? How do we bring our youth together? There was an aspect of the $1 million promise by the president. That will be handled. We are still in COVID crisis. We will make a budget for that. And of course, a promise will be fulfilled at any one time. It doesn't have a timeline. Yes. And we also have the Prime Minister, the Vice President in the House. She is going to make a commitment on behalf of the President.
Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to make an amendment. I've listened to the views expressed on this motion. And it appears the movers of the motion left out the critical area of this matter. I think I would like to move an amendment, item 4 of the prayer, to say that Parliament urges government to bring to Parliament a program on how the ministry will prioritize on sports. And the justification for this, Right Honorable Speaker, is that most of our sportsmen and women who have done well at the international arena have done it on their own individual initiative. This government has not shown us that the government wants to invest on sports as a national priority. So I think it's important that we add as amendment number 4 on the prayer, so that the government can come to Parliament, maybe through the budget or through supplementary, to facilitate and to actually be seen to be investing in sports. So I beg to move that amendment if the movers of the motion can allow that, that amendment to go through.
Is the
Thank you.
amendment accepted, allowed? Honorable Minister. Order on the whole. Honorable Minister Mingo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Vice President, Your Excellency, the Vice President, and my dear colleagues. First of all, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to educate my brother, Semuju, that I'm a member of Parliament and I took an oath and I have all the qualifications to be here, Right Honorable Speaker. I took an oath as a minister of the Republic of Uganda, and I am a minister. And I want to demand that he stops addressing me as PA. Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable.
Order. Right Honorable Speaker. It's
Honorable
order on a senior member
Honorable
like you.
Seongo. Don't you really have a shame to put an elder like that on order? Don't you have shame?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also join my colleagues to thank Honorable Santa Loom for this motion to congratulate the men national basket, the silver bucket, and the under 16 boys and girls national basket teams. This motion and the ideas that have been floated this afternoon confirm the love, care, and support Parliament has for the development of sports in this country, and I want to thank you. My ministry is very pleased to see that our long-running commitment to develop sports in this country is continuing to bear fruits. The qualifications of men's national basketball team and the under 16 boys and girls national team for the Afro Basketball Championship is a great pride for all Ugandans, especially those who are in the ministry, associated with the Ministry of Education and Sports. I salute and congratulate the gallant players upon this great victory. And of course, I challenge them to continue winning wherever they will go for the championship. Regarding funding and facilitating sports activities, sports teams, Right Honorable Speaker, this is a budgetary matter. Parliament knows very well how much was appropriated for our sector and the arguments that took place. I have taken note of all the comments, Madam Speaker, because I'm going home, I'll be going back to the ministry to study this matter, and I'll get back to you, Madam Speaker and dear colleagues. But about borrowing, Madam Speaker, I very well know that even if it is cabinet wanting to borrow money before we
anybody commits government, somebody, parliament, has got to authorize. So this is another matter we need to really understand how to handle it. Otherwise, I'll go back, study, and get back to you. Otherwise, sports is one of the sectors that are underfunded. About the strategic plan, Madam Speaker, the sector has a strategic plan. And at an appropriate time, we'll come back and share it with you. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you so much. Honorable High Excellency, the Vice President.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank colleagues who have vehemently supported this motion. I join them in supporting this motion. Madam Speaker, the sports department in the Ministry of Education has over the years made Uganda proud by bringing in all categories of medals whenever they go to participate in the region or even outside Africa. So I would like to congratulate the Minister of Education, Mama Janet Museveni, and my brother here, Honorable Muingo, for the commitment that they have in promoting sports in the country. But also to thank the members of Parliament who thought it wise to bring this motion to the House. I thank you very much for being very well-spirited in bringing up matters of sports. But Madam Speaker, I have one point to make. While I was Minister of Education, Madam Speaker, we were operating on the National Sports Act of 1964. In 1964, as you may note, Madam Speaker, many of the members here were not yet born. At that time, the sports, Honorable Bakabulindi was always reminding me that that time, the sports were considered as amateur sports, and they were not as professional as they are now. The sports federations were not as well constituted as they are now. Therefore, Madam Speaker, the ministry took a decision to amend that act. And as we talk, with the strategic work plan, of course, which the ministers alluded to, the act is fully the bill through in the Ministry of Education, which can match the standards of the sports now, which can even cure many problems that we are talking about now, is ready in the ministry. So I just stood up to implore this House that support the bill when it comes to Parliament, because it has so many solutions to the challenges of sports that we have been talking about now. Finally, just 1 minute, Madam Speaker. You asked me to make a commitment on behalf of His Excellency the President. What I can say is that he will hear about this message in a formal manner, and I can bear witness that he has always supported the sports federations. It is not the first time that he will be supporting this team to go on. I am very confident that he's going to support this team and many more teams that come up. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you so much. Now that we have a commitment, even from the Vice President, what else are we left with? And apart from putting a question, okay.
Thank you very much,
Proceed, yeah.
Madam Speaker. The motion is twofold. The first is to congratulate the basketball teams The second is begging for money. The Honorable Minister Muyingo, representing the senior minister, I have actually failed to understand what he said about the money. The Vice President is dealing with matters emerging, because the matter of the National Council of Sports is a matter that emerged during the debate. The specific issue of this motion is to congratulate the team. The second leg of this motion is to provide money for the team to go and participate. So the procedural issue I'm raising, Madam Speaker, is whether the two senior government officials should hide under generalities and avoid addressing the specific issues of the motion of facilitating a team to go and participate in this tournament. Madam Speaker.
Honorable Minister of Sports, standing in for sports, for education. One, we need, first of all, because what I am told, they were told to borrow money by National Council of Sports. We need that money to be refunded through National Council of Sports. Then in the next budget, we also need to improve on the funding of sports, so that we don't have these scenarios of every time when members are going out, they go and do the borrowing of the money, or they start running to the president. We need to improve on the funding for the whole sporting discipline. We need the money that was borrowed by the Federation of the FEBA to be refunded.
Thank you very much, Madam.
And then we need the law as soon as possible. The law which has been talked by the Vice President, we need that law to be presented to this House.
Speaker, I think the most important thing is that we need 177,359 to enable our team to go and participate in the forthcoming tournament. And that is very, very important and very urgent. We should not bury our heads in the sand that it is because of COVID, because other countries are participating and they are also faced with COVID. So it's important for Uganda that we must send our team, and we need immediately 177,359. Right, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minister, you've heard the team is still to go out, so the team needs to be facilitated.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. For us as government, this side we work as a team. And I want to assure you that very soon the law will be presented before Parliament. And as my senior His Excellency the Vice President said, that law will address quite a number of issues, challenges we have in the sports sector. About the need for more funding to the sector, and particularly for these teams, I've taken note, Madam Speaker, and I said, and I'm saying, that when budgeting period comes, we'll take care of all the issues that have been raised in Parliament today. But as for whether we'll be able to give money now, Madam Speaker, I said that's a budgetary matter. The budget was appropriate, money we are utilizing now was appropriated by Parliament. That's why I said I'll go back to the ministry, look through, and get back to you, Madam Speaker, later. I submit.
Honorable Minister, can you get back to the House on Tuesday on the issue whether the team is going out or not?
Most obliged, Madam Speaker.
Members, you've heard the debate, and virtually almost the whole House has seconded the motion. I now put the question on the motion for a resolution of Parliament to congratulate the men's national basketball team, Silverbacks, and under 16 boys and girls national basketball team. With those in favor, say aye, and the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Congratulations. Members, we are mindful of the time, the Prime Minister's time of 4. But we have at least 4 burning issues that we need a Prime Minister to capture from matters of national importance. After at least 4 members, 5 members, then we go to Prime Minister's time. Honorable Kwizera. Honorable Kwizera Eddie.
Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable members, my name is Kwizera Eddie. I have the original voice of the Chimbiri County in Isoro District. I stand here to raise issues of national importance, and they are in 2 parts. How do Uganda manage its foreign policy, and as to whether even the East African Community Treaty is still relevant to the prevailing conditions. Madam Right Honorable Speaker, our national policy, foreign policy, is guided by newspapers and is guided by the bloggers and the press. So when some issues have happened between some states, some of these states react differently, and you find that we are being endangered. I wish to thank His Excellency the President for the efforts he has been putting in the regional integration. But the regional integration, if you check the treaty which is here, you find that the regional integration is number 4, and none of the core items has successfully been implemented. It was supposed to start with customs union, it was supposed to be followed by common market, and was supposed to have monetary union, followed by the political federation. None of the 3 has been successfully implemented. And these are 22 years of the existence of the East African Treaty. So we don't know as to whether this thing is still relevant now, or if government can come here and tell us what is it now. Because now when you go to some of these countries, say between Rwanda and Uganda, there are no movements. The people I represent in Chisoro cannot move from between the borders. But what is very unfortunate is those who are very rich can move from Kigali by air and come to Entebbe. So why is it that if Kigali cannot allow us under foreign policy and diplomacy to move between our borders and trade normally, even the way we used to do it before the formation of East African Community? Why is it that we allow planes to land in Entebbe or take off from Entebbe and go to Kigali? The people I represent deserve an answer. Secondly, you find that because of the close of the borders, which has not only affected Uganda and Rwanda, the same has applied between Kenya and Uganda, because today I saw in the print media how the Minister of Agriculture was lamenting how they cannot take some of our products like milk. Yet the treaty was supposed to address the issue of the common market. So, Right Honorable Speaker, on that one, East African Common Market, and who manages our national policy, may this House be honored to get a statement and be informed about how we can rate these countries. I thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2.
Just one is enough. So many for her
No,
question.
I have another issue. I said this issue had 2 parts.
Okay.
And this one is in the constitutional provision, and which is the Article 21 of the Constitution, that is against the discrimination of some citizens, because all of us are equal before the law. In Chisoro, we have the people under the third schedule of our constitution, who are the Watwa, and they are number 35. These people are Ugandans, they are not refugees, but they are discriminated against. And the people we represent deserve to get an answer as to why the Pygmies or the Batwa can continue being discriminated, and they are now becoming a danger to society. Right, Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Take note. Honorable Tony Awanyi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for having given me this opportunity. For the record, my name is Tony Awanyi, MP representing the people of Nwaya County. Right Honorable Speaker and members, as a matter of national importance, I wish to bring to the attention of the House that there is an outbreak of foot and mouth disease in the village of Funupamino Ward, Patira Parish, Orongo Sub-County in Nwaya District. 5 major kraals consisting of about 1,500 herds of cattle are at the risk of being decimated. Already 35 animals have died, with hundreds infected. There are already some cases of disease reported to be in Anaka Town Council, the seat of the district headquarters. We implore the intervention of the concerned Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries to intervene and vaccinate all the cattle and treat the affected animals expeditiously. Right Honorable Speaker, 2 weeks ago, another issue of national importance was raised by my brother, Honorable Gilbert Olanya, about the marauding and ravaging elephants moving from Magician Falls National Park. Right Honorable Speaker, we bring this to the attention of the House and to the attention of the Right Honorable Prime Minister to try to cause it to the concerned ministry to try to get some mitigation measures about the ravaging animals, elephants. Already, the farmers are complaining of extensive damage that has been caused by the marauding elephants. They have gone as far as Amuro in the neighboring district, and there is concern that coupled with the bad weather, these elephants are going to cause much more havoc to the crops that have been planted. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit and request that the Right Prime Minister tries to come up with some statement on this matter. Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minister, Prime Minister, that's for you. Honorable Namubiru Margaret. Rabushai, yeah. Namubiru Margaret. Honorable Kelo Nelson. Okelo Nelson.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I rise up in accordance.
Please speak up, speak up.
I rise up as per Rule 64 of the Parliament of Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Okelo Nelson, speak up.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I rise up in accordance with Rule 54 of the Parliamentary Rules of the Republic of Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, first of all, I want to thank government for creating road connectivity and improving the accessibility in northern Uganda in particular. Right Honorable Speaker, however, in Lance region, particularly Apache, road connectivity in terms of paved road network has been a problem.
Honorable Prime Minister, the Member of Parliament is going to put his question in writing.
Right,
Then you put your question in writing and forward it to the Honorable Prime Minister. And we can have Honorable Kahunde Helen.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Apache is one of the oldest districts in Uganda, but has never benefited from any kilometer of paved road networks. Right, Honorable Speaker, in 2020, November or October, His Excellency the President commissioned Rwenkunye Apache Lira Purana Road, totaling to about 191 kilometers. To be upgraded from class C,
I have already
gravel
told you
road.
to put your question in writing. Can we have the next item?
Yeah, my question is
Next item. Next item.
Item number 4, presentation, consideration, and adoption of the report of the Parliamentary Task Force on the National COVID-19 response.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Okay.
Honorable Katuntu. Honorable members, I still have issues of national importance. We are going to handle them. Let's first hear this.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, last week you did direct that this matter should be put on the order paper such that the task force presents its report today. As I informed you, Right Honorable Speaker, the teams that had gone in the field were coming back over last weekend, and that's what happened. On Monday, Right Honorable Speaker, we are supposed to interact with the ministers of the ministers of health, finance, and gender. Unfortunately, all the ministers said that was a cabinet day, they were not available. We thought we'd meet them on Tuesday. They said they had other prior engagements. Right Honorable Speaker, the day they gave us to be available such that we have the exit meeting was yesterday, Wednesday. The Minister of Health wrote to us and said she'll be ready with her team at 9 o'clock. However, yesterday they had the National COVID Task Force meeting, and she managed to come at 3 p.m. We did meet with the Honorable Minister from 3 p.m. up to 7:38 p.m. It was not possible, therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, to have a report ready between 8 p.m. yesterday and this afternoon. We therefore why don't you listen? Who said there is a report?
Members, why don't you listen? He has not finished his statement. He's still giving you a preamble of it.
Right Honorable Speaker, I think there is a challenge of hearing because of the rain. I don't know whether this is slightly better. Well, if you are the chairperson of a COVID task force and you are the one removing the mask, then what sort of example would be giving to the others? Right Honorable Speaker, as I was saying, that we had our exit meeting yesterday with the Minister of Health, starting at 3 p.m. and ended 8 p.m. in the night. It was not possible, therefore, to do our final tidings to the committee report. The committee report, therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, will be ready within the next 2 days. Whether it is Monday or Tuesday, Right Honorable Speaker, shall be ready to present our report. But I have to emphasize, Right Honorable Speaker, when we embarked on this task, we didn't know how enormous it would be. But colleagues, it is turned out to be quite a big task. I therefore request, Right Honorable Speaker, if you put us on the order paper, we may need 2 hours, a minimum, to present the report. 2 hours, a minimum of 2 hours to present the report, because it covers the entire country, plus what is happening at the national level. If we are going to have other items on the agenda, I don't think my colleagues will do justice to that report. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. We shall be ready in 2 days. Right Honorable Speaker, you can give us any other day.
Thank you so much, Honorable Katuntu. We now push the report to Tuesday. Next item.
Procedure, Speaker. Procedure, Speaker.
Item number
This
6.
side, government side, yes.
Prime Minister's time.
Right Honorable Speaker, this was not a normal committee. It was a committee, in your wisdom, that was constituted to handle a very matter of emergency in nature. For us to allow the 2 days, we're aware that tomorrow is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday to Tuesday, Right Honorable Speaker, a lot of issues would have arisen, and the report itself, bearing in mind the dynamics, the dynamism of the COVID-19, this report will be stale. I'm afraid it could be overtaken by events. Number 2, we're aware that even the executive arm, the president, is also making efforts to address the same. It is critical that this report is tabled so that the president can have an official record, such that when he's communicating to the country, it is a synchronized assessment of the situation, so that the efforts of the committee are not in vain. This parliament is contributing to the wellness of this country. We are all trying to find out how we can overcome this COVID-19 scourge. And the very matter that a lot of things are happening in the morning, happening in the evening. I bet if the chair takes this committee to Tuesday, it will be overtaken by events and the report will be stale, and therefore we shall need another report again. So I beg your indulgence, Right Honorable Speaker, and the chair of the committee.
Honorable Sechkubo, the report will not be stale. That's number one. COVID will have not stopped. COVID is still there. 3, if we have people who have made any mistake, we will take them on. The law is there. So the aspect of being stale is not an issue. If the report is not ready, what do you want them to present? Can we go to the next item? Next item.
Item number 6.
You can respond.
Next item.
Item 6, Prime Minister's time.
Do I have the floor, Right Honorable Speaker?
Honorable Sechkubo, I thought you're a senior member of this house. And you should be the one to train the rest of the people on how to handle the proceedings in the house. So we are saying the next item, unless you are the Prime Minister. It's Prime Minister's time under Rule 41(3).
Most obliged, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. So please have a seat, Sechi.
I thought I'd caught your eye.
Yeah. Members, I said the other day, kindly stop sending me cheats. Corona is very real. If you want to bring a matter of national importance, come and register in my office. If I don't read your cheat, don't say I don't like you, but I'm not going to read them. Prime Minister,
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, Your Excellency the Vice President, honorable colleagues. I'm ready with the answers. I'm just waiting for members to question me, and then I come here.
members,
Those that submitted their questions know themselves. This time around, we got 6 questions, Your Right Honorable Speaker. One question came from Kawalia Abubakar of Ruvaga.
Honorable Kawalia. Honorable Kawalia Abubakar of Ruvaga. Read your question the way you wrote it.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First one, to Rule 41 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. Through the clerk to Parliament, I hereby submit my question
due to the Prime Minister's question time. Madam Speaker, the Traditional Rulers Act of 1993 returned assets and properties stipulated in its schedule to traditional rulers. The Act specified that those not included in the schedule be returned following negotiations between government and traditional rulers. In the case of Uganda Kingdom, the properties meant for negotiation for return by the then included the 9,000 square miles, the 1,500 square miles of forests, and the 160 square miles of the official estates at county and sub-county headquarters all over Uganda, which were impounded by the central government in 1967 and vested in the Uganda Land Commission. In the Uganda National Land Policy released in 2013, it was emphasized that it is necessary to expedite the conclusion of this legal process based on agreed principles with the central government, not only for Uganda, but for all kingdoms, including Bunyoro and Busoga, that had not put forward demands. My question to the Prime Minister, who according to Article 1082A of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda is the lead of government business in Parliament and responsible for coordination and implementation of government policies across ministries, departments, and other public institutions, is that how far has government reached on this commitment and legal process? I beg to submit.
Right Honorable Speaker, Your Excellency the Vice President and honorable colleagues, government is determined to redress the injustice that the confiscated of the items and properties of the kingdom and traditional rulers of 1967 represented. The NRM government in 1993 enacted the Traditional Rulers Act, Cap 247. The purpose of the act was to restore the traditional rulers' assets and properties previously owned by them, all connected with, all attached to their offices, but which had been confiscated by the state, and to make other provisions relating or incidental to or consequential upon the foregoing. Right Honorable Speaker, consequently, Section 2, Subsection 1 of the Traditional Rulers Act, Cap 247, provided for the return or transfer of any asset or property previously confiscated by the state from or in respect of or in relation to any traditional ruler under the Constitution of the 1967 to the ruler on the commencement of the act without any further assurance than the act. For the case of Uganda, Right Honorable Speaker, the assets and the properties to be vested in the traditional ruler for some estate or interest, or as was then held by Uganda Land Commission on commencement of the act, were listed in the schedule under subsection 4 of the subsection 4 of section of the act. Subsection 5 provided that in the case of traditional rulers, other than the traditional ruler of Uganda, the government would hold negotiations with the traditional rulers concerned with a view to returning to them such assets and properties as may be agreed. Right Honorable Speaker, subsection 6, provided that the foregoing provision, subsection 5, applied to the traditional ruler of Uganda in respect of any asset or property other than those specified in the schedule to the Act. Finally, subsection 7 provided that where it would be agreed to transfer any asset or property to a traditional ruler under subsection 5 or subsection 6, 1 would apply to the asset or property with effect from the date approved in the agreement. Right Honorable Speaker, the said schedule to the Act listed the following assets and properties for the immediate return to the traditional ruler of Uganda. 1, the Bulange. 2, the Rubirio at Mengo. 3, the Butikiro. 4, the Buganda Court Building. 5, the Kabaka's official 350 square miles of land. 6, the Namasole's 10 square miles of land. 7, Banalinya's land. Eight, Kabaka's Lake. 9, former Omulamuzi and the Omuanika's official residence of Mengo. 10, land adjacent to Ruviri on which three Uganda ministerial houses used to stand. 11, all Basekabaka's tombs. 12, Buganda Works building at Kakeka. 13, Basima House, and 14, Narinya's house at Rubaga. As per subsections 5 and 6, the rest of the assets and properties were to be returned on the basis of the outcome of negotiations held between the government and the traditional ruler of Uganda. That Honorable Speaker, accordingly, on 1st August 2013, following negotiations between the government of Uganda, led by H.E. the President, and the Uganda Kingdom, led by the Kabaka of Uganda, a memorandum of agreement, the agreement was concluded between the two sides pertaining the return to the Kabaka, the former estates of Uganda Kingdom. Under Clause A1, the government agreed to return to the Kabaka of Uganda. A, land in urban centers, stroke towns. B, land where the former administration headquarters, that is to say, Gomborolas and Masazas were situated. C, land not claimed or utilized or occupied by any lawful or bona fide occupant, as defined in the 1995 Constitution and the Land Act in the rural and peri-urban areas. Where a rural or peri-urban area was occupied by many people who did not qualify as lawful bona fide or bona fide occupants, the government and the Kabaka would negotiate amicably, agree on the manner of handling the occupants, such as government compensating the Kabaka. The land on Mitiana Road, that is the Geza Farm, and former Uganda Kingdom markets. The government also agreed to compensate the Kabaka for land comprised in plot 52 Kampala Road and Mutesa House in London. That is the 42 Queen's Garden Road, London, SW. And to return or compensate the Kabaka for properties that formerly belonged to the kingdom but were transferred to government. All the above properties were to be verified by the relevant government agencies before they are transferred to the Kabaka. All
compensation as affected. Finally, the government was to pay to the Kabaka a total sum of 20,389,206,000 in agreement as agreed installments to cover all the rental areas, dues, court awards, interest, accrued, etc. This amount, however, was to be verified by government ministries or agencies or a team that was set up by both parties to the agreement before payment was affected. Government was, however, to immediately mobilize 2 billion as part payment, which it indeed mobilized and paid to the Kabaka upon the signature of the agreement. Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank the NRM government because by the end of 2014, a total of 312 certificates of titles had been handed over to the Buganda Kingdom by HE the President to the particular. These have been acknowledged by the Kingdom. In addition, the government between 2013 and 2015 paid to the Kabaka a total of 14 billion out of the documented 20,389,206,000 towards arrears, premiums, dues, court awards, and interest that had accrued since the date of the agreement. Further, pursuant to clause A3 of the agreement, the government in 2018 constituted on an interministerial committee on the implementation of the agreement. The interministerial committee on 10th of April 2018 established a technical and a verification team to assist it in verifying the Uganda Kingdom claims and to come up with a recommendation. The interministerial committee comprises of the Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Minister of Land, Housing and Urban Development, the Attorney General, and the Minister of Local Government. On the other hand, the technical and verification team is wider and comprises of representatives from the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, the Minister of Land and Urban Development, the Attorney General's Chambers, Minister of Defense, Minister of Local Government, Minister of Health, the Judiciary, Minister of Education and Sports, Uganda Police Force, Uganda Prison Service, the National Water and Sewerage Corporation. The team was given the following terms of reference. A, to verify Buganda Kingdom claims and make recommendations to government. B, to identify government MDAs occupying land belonging to the Buganda Kingdom. C, to demand documents regarding the Buganda Kingdom claims and cause compliance from all MDAs. D, to handle any other matter incidental to the claims of Uganda Kingdom and to accomplish the task within 1 month and in any case not later than 15th of May 2018 and submit a report to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Land, Housing and Urban Development. The technical and verification team verified certain assets and submitted an interim report dated 18th July 2018 with recommendations to the interministerial committee. Based on the report, the government between 2018 and 2020 paid a total sum of 18,700,000,000 towards the compensation of plot 52 Kabaka Road, that is King Fahad Plaza, and plot 42 Queen's Garden Road, London, that is Mutesa House, which left a balance of 33,361,825,200. that the government should be able to pay once the economic situation normalizes after the COVID pandemic. But Honorable Speaker, allow me to inform you of the present status. The present status is that there is an outstanding verified debt of 33,361,825,200 that the government will clear once the situation normalizes. Two, that there is a number of certificates of the title whose verification is ongoing. The challenge has been the nature of the land involved in view of the passage of time since their confiscation. While the lands exist, there are people that occupy these lands other than the government. The government, as indicated above, has already returned those under its control. The government is intent on regularizing its occupancy of various Uganda Kingdom lands through either paying rent or obtaining leases as recommended by the Technical and Verification Committee. These institutions include the Judiciary, Uganda prisons, Uganda Police, Uganda People's Defense Forces, local government schools, under the Ministry of Education. The survey,
Prime Minister, procedure matter.
Thank you.
I was about to conclude this.
Thank you. Right, Honorable Speaker.
I think there is a problem with the microphone.
Thank you. Right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Prime Minister, this is for your good. We are not understanding, we are not hearing you clearly. I request, Right, Honorable Speaker, let the technical team work on the speakers. The wording are not clear and members are not understanding well.
I think it's a problem of the rain.
No, not necessarily rain, Right, Honorable Speaker. You know, for the speaker, it has nothing to do with rain.
Clark,
Let our technical team really do their work.
Clark, can you check what is the problem? If people are not hearing.
But members are saying they are hearing. Right, Honorable Speaker, the survey and the opening of boundaries of Chigo land will soon be carried out by the Ministry of Lands as recommended by the Technical and Verification team. The Technical and Verification team shall complete its work and submit its final report to government as soon as the condition brought about by COVID-19 pandemic is. Right, Honorable Speaker, other kingdoms. On the 2nd September 2019, the government and the Kingdom of Toro entered into an agreement similar to the one with Uganda. The agreement provided for a joint implementation committee or team comprising of representatives of the government and the Toro Kingdom under the chairmanship of the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. The team held preliminary meetings in late 2019 and the early 2020. Honorable Speaker, however, the advent of the pandemic in March 2020 led to the suspension of the activities. Bunyoro and the Busoga kingdoms have also initiated discussions with government. Negotiations with these two will be held as soon as the situation gets better. That Honorable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Honorable Kawalia, you've gotten your response.
Madam Speaker, let me first appreciate the Prime Minister, though I'm not satisfied
as someone who raised this question. What I expected her is at least to give us a commitment, first on the amount of money that the government of Mengo demands the central government by using its properties, that totals to 147 billion. We expected to receive a commitment from the Prime Minister, which she hasn't. We all understand that the government of Uganda also uses most of the properties that belong to Uganda Kingdom.
There is a procedure matter here.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Rule 41 of our rules of procedure clearly guides us on how the Prime Minister's question time is done. And it does not provide for a debate for the submission of the Prime Minister once he answers the question. So, Right Honorable Speaker, are we moving in the right procedure whereby a member is making supplementary questions on an answer that was clearly answered by the Right Honorable Prime Minister?
Madam Speaker.
Government Chief Whip, supplementary questions are allowed. And if the member wants a clarification, it doesn't cause any harm, because that is an aspect of budgeting. That can be budgeted for. If we want a confirmation of how much money, if we know how much money they are demanding us, it's just seeking for clarification. And supplementary questions are allowed.
Right Honorable Speaker, under Rule 41 of our rules of procedure.
There is a procedure matter here.
Right now, Speaker, the Prime Minister is comfortable listening to the questions given her as supplementary questions. She's not complaining. And indeed, I know Honorable Banja is interested in settling these questions. Now, the Chief Whip wants to usurp the power of the Prime Minister. Is it in order to come in where the Prime Minister is comfortably ready to answer our supplementary questions as per the questions raised by the member? Is he in order right now, Speaker? Because I know Naona Banja said she's there to sort out these problems. And we are very comfortable with her seated there, ready to answer us. So what is the worry of the Chief Whip at this juncture?
And I don't know what Honorable Seung. These concerns have been there for a long time.
Prime Minister, Honorable Kawalia just wants a clarification.
Madam Speaker, before
he never understood. No, but you have a right to reply. You will reply.
Before the Prime Minister comes.
You will reply. You have a right to reply as a leader of opposition.
But I wanted to hit it when it's still hot.
Okay.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
Yes.
If my counterpart, the government Chief Whip, would want us to microphone. If my counterpart, the government Chief Whip, would want to demonstrate to us that there should be strict adherence to the rules, then he has not gone through Rule 41, Sub-Rule 5. It requires the Prime Minister to have made her responses copied, written responses copied to the relevant member, which she has not. That's why the member is even complaining. Here he is.
Madam Speaker, I haven't received any copy of the response. Actually, it is also news to me from the Prime Minister herself that she gave me a copy that I haven't seen even from my pigeonhole.
It could have been an oversight.
Madam Speaker, before she responds,
Right, Honorable
When
Speaker.
someone talks about
Right,
the
Honorable Speaker.
147
Right,
billion,
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Kawalia, just
Right, Honorable
hear from-
Speaker. I know the procedure is, I submit my responses to the clerk, which I did. So is he really in order for him to start questioning me here when I submitted the responses to the clerk?
I am told the document was uploaded because they don't want it. They didn't want members to get physical copies because of COVID. But from Monday, you'll start having your iPads, and I will not want to hear an excuse that I didn't receive.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Prime Minister for elaborately answering these questions. But my supplementary question, Honorable Speaker, you see, Madam Speaker, Buganda Kingdom's assets were taken by the regime by that time, and they were taken at once. But right now, Prime Minister, what is happening now? You are doing what we call piecemeal returning. If you steal my clothes, why do you start by giving me a shirt? After the other election, you give me a pair of trousers, yet you know I'm demanding you. Honorable Madam Speaker, Buganda is demanding central government 147 billions out of rent. Then there is money they're supposed to compensate. All this money, the Prime Minister is not mentioning it. As a Vice Chairman of Committee of Government Assurance and Implementation, I want to hear from the Prime Minister on this floor of Parliament that Buganda Kingdom, Buganda establishment, government is going to return and pay back all this money and we get it as a government assurance in this floor of Parliament, as it was stated some time back by the Minister. So, Madam Prime Minister, can you give us an assurance that Buganda Kingdom is going to get back all its assets, not in a piecemeal, plus all the money it's demanding from you in the next financial year? Can you make it as a government assurance?
Honorable Sengo, one thing you need to appreciate that we have priorities in this government. And among the priorities, Buganda property is one of them. So at least you're getting the nifties in the piecemeal. At least you're getting. What is important is to get it. But you'll get another kingdom which will say we have never got. So the next question, Honorable Babaru Lilian Obaile. Honorable Paparu.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm called Paparu Lilian Obiale, woman member of Parliament, Arua District. Right Honorable Speaker, when you access West Nile from Pakwach, we use two routes. One is through Karuma Pakwach, the other is through Masindi Pakwach, via Tara. Right Honorable Speaker, as of now, a new bridge was constructed along Masindi Pakwach Road, and this road was opened for use by the public. Right Honorable Speaker, this road passes through Cavalega or Matson Falls. However, Right Honorable Speaker, the people who use this road right now are being charged even when they are on transit. A person passing along that road is charged 20,000 shillings, that is per head, and vehicles are charged 30,000 shillings. In summary, when you have 3 or 4 in a vehicle, you end up paying 80,000 with the vehicle, with the vehicle charge, you pay 110,000 shillings on transit. If you're a regular traveler, that means every weekend when you travel, you part with over 100,000 shillings. But there are similar roads that pass through national parks, and those on transit are not necessarily charged, except those who are on tourism. So I request the Line Ministry to clarify for us why the people are charged to use this public road, yet it is even a shorter route to access West Nile. Right Honorable Speaker, following the creation of cities, some districts, the remnant districts, remained to operate. A case in point is the Arua district that is currently having its headquarters in Arua City. This has made services more expensive because the headquarters is currently located outside the geographical location of Arua district. The assets and the offices and the personnel sit in Arua City. Accessing these offices has become very expensive for the ordinary person. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to request how far the local government has planned to give transition funds to these remnant districts so that they are able to construct and relocate their offices to where these districts are located, because a district headquarters cannot be outside where the district is. It makes services very expensive. Thank you. I beg to move.
Thank you, Lillian. Prime Minister.
Thank you, Lillian. Right Honorable Speaker, the first question, he has got it today, and I request that she places it with the Clerk of Parliament so that I answer it next week. The last one, I have the answer because that was what I was given from the clerk's office.
I beg your pardon?
The first question she posed, I have no answer today because, you know, I'm supposed to give adequate explanation and concrete answers. Now, the last one, I have an answer.
Members, by the way, when you're reading your question, read the question that was written as it is. Don't add something. If you want something else to be answered, you bring it as a fresh question.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Lillian and Parliament on 28th April 2020 approved the creation of 15 cities to be operational in a phased manner from 1st July 2020 to 1st July 2023. All the cities created have 2 city divisions that are equivalent to municipalities. The first 10 cities commenced operations on 1st July 2020. Most of the cities were created as a result of elevation of the respective municipalities in the mother districts. Because the municipalities were smaller in size, this required the expansion of boundaries for the cities, hence calling for annexion of some parishes and sub-counties from the mother districts. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move. I can give more information if need be. For example, as per decentralization system of government, the local government headquarters are meant to be located closer to the people they deliver services to. This will require the district headquarters where cities were created to relocate from the city geographical area after some time. This requires to avail state-up funds for the districts to establish headquarters, and the Ministry of Local Government is pushing the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development for funding. It will also require the district council to submit a resolution of council to create a town council as per law for where the district headquarters will be established. The Ministry of Local Government is still awaiting for the council resolutions to that regard. All this will require some time, and the Ministry of Local Government has guided that the districts will be given some time to relocate. I want to talk about sharing of assets. The Ministry of Local Government has also guided on a case-by-case basis regarding the sharing of assets and liabilities formerly owned by the old district. On human resource, that Honorable Speaker, the districts were guided to first identify the human resource they intend to retain and pass on the remaining staff to the cities that will hence be assigned duties by the city management the moment cabinet approves the human resource structure of the cities. The mother districts' wage provisions have not changed because their structure remains the same. The city human resource structure are pending cabinet approval for recruitment to start. The cities have a wage provision only awaiting recruitment. The Ministry of Local Government continues to give guidance from time to time in line with Section 95 of the Local Government Act, FAP 243, to cater for the transitional period of the cities and the mother districts. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Kindly ask the Minister of Local Government to continuously follow on that matter. It's a very serious issue. Honorable Babiku Jessica.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues. The question is about delay to compensate verified victims of the atrocities committed by the Lord's Resistance Army in Madi sub-region. Right Honorable Speaker, the specific questions are: why is Madi sub-region not compensated? When is Madi sub-region going to benefit from this compensation program? Which districts have so far been compensated as a result of the loss caused by the Lord's Resistance Army, and what was their package? When is the Prime Minister visiting Adjournment district to interact with these victims. That was the component of the first question. Thank you, Right Honorable. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The second question was about irrigation. Right Honorable Speaker and Right Honorable Prime Minister, I am inquiring why government has not taken on with implementation of the promise to get water from River Nile to support water-stressed areas in terms of production activities. We are also asking whether there is a strategic plan. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to thank Honorable Jessica Babiku as an old friend. The government is in the process of verifying livestock compensation claims for areas of Acholi, Lango, and Teso sub-region, including Karamoja, West Nile sub-region, Sebei, Bukedi, and the Busoga sub-regions that were affected by insurgency. For example, those of Lord's Resistance Army, disarmament, specifically in the Karamoja and the cattle rustling. Presently, the compensation exercise is being concluded in Acholi, Lango, and the Teso regions, with the output expected in 3 months. Right Honorable Speaker, already the lists of claimants and beneficiaries for Acholi, Lango, and Teso sub-regions are on display at each of every sub-county and district headquarters. The exercise was only affected by the ongoing lockdown, but shall resume immediately the lockdown is lifted. West Nile sub-region, for example, Madi sub-region, which is comprising of Adjumani Moyo and the Abongi district, is covered by the livestock verification exercise. Colleagues, Honorable Speaker, I want you to note that the livestock verification exercise is focused on Adjumani district, described as West Nile, east of the Nile, because it was actually directly affected by Lord's Resistance Army activities. This implies that the RRA activities which resulted in the loss of livestock were based on the eastern side of the River Nile, that is Adjumani district. Colleagues, the Interministerial Committee led by the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs in January 2020 displayed for 6 months lists of claimants, and I believe Honorable Babiku is aware, and beneficiaries in Adjumani district at sub-county and district level, whose claims had been presented in the High Court of Arua in civil suit number 23, 2017. Honorable Piro Santos versus Attorney General. The case was concluded by the Honorable Justice Ayuko Anthony, who ordered verification to determine genuine livestock claimants. The government already has a program for verification of the livestock claimants in Adjumani district, which shall be implemented by the Interministerial Committee on Livestock Compensation within this financial year. Government has also already provided the funding to complete the exercise for all sub-regions within this financial year. Government shall make payments to each affected area after the conclusion of the verification exercise in that area, with payments commencing this financial year. Previously, funds have been released for claimants and beneficiaries in Acholi and Lamu sub-region through their respective lawyers and associations. However, based on the fraud and mismanagement of the funds, the lawyers and the associations, government, for example, both the parliament and cabinet resolved that payments shall be affected directly to the claimants and beneficiaries, I think using the recent cash releases on mobile money. The Interministerial Livestock Verification Committee, led by the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, is working with district leaders and district structures in implementing and concluding the exercise within this financial year, 2020, 2021, 2022. Honorable Jessica Babiko wanted to know whether I will go to Adjournment. Honorable Jessica, you are aware, as an old friend, I was in Adjournment on 8th March 2017. When I was your guest of honor, that time I was still a commissioner of parliament. As a prime minister, I promised that I would still come to Adjournment and the other parts of the country, colleagues, to monitor government policy projects, and this must be after lockdown. Colleagues, the other question of water.
What do you want to clarify? Was the question yours?
Yes, Right Honourable Speaker, this is very important. I would like to seek clarification, Right Honourable Speaker, from the Right Honourable Prime Minister. Right Honourable Speaker, the issues of compensation of the war victims in northern Uganda, including West Nile, is a very serious matter. I remember, Right Honourable Speaker, it was raised in the 9th Parliament by Honourable Rigano Kumu. In the 10th Parliament, it was raised again by Honourable Leandro Komakech. And I would like to get clarification from our Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is saying the process of verification of the war victims is still going on. And it will continue going on until when, Right Honourable Speaker. Now, coming to 10 years down the road, the war victims has not been compensated in Acholi, in West Nile, in Lao, in Peso. Every time the government says the process is going on, the process is going on. I would like to know, let the Right Honourable Prime Minister give us the time frame so that we take the report to our people in northern Uganda. Thank you.
Maybe for information, I happened to be in a Presidential Affairs Committee where that matter was handled, and that money was budgeted for. Actually, the money for compensation is available. Now, the only thing that the Prime Minister needs to push on is the issue of faster verification, because you find the original list that was there was more of a fake list. So, Prime Minister, make a follow-up on a faster verification of the process for all the regions, Teso, West Nile, all those regions. Much obliged, Late Honourable Speaker.
Information, Madam Speaker. Paul O'Mara, MP Otuke County. The Right Honourable Speaker, the issue of cattle compensation had taken too long. And every electoral period, electoral cycle, this matter comes up and promises are made. The people of northern Uganda have waited for the last 15 years when the war ended. So can we take this matter seriously and then we deal it? And if money is available, let people get compensated. I thank you.
Thank you. Actually, the money for compensation is under the Ministry of Justice.
Right Honourable Speaker, this time I'm not taking that information.
Can we finish?
Because my time is almost elapsing, the 45 minutes, allow me to present, Right Honourable Speaker. I beg.
Right Honourable Speaker, can you summarize on that?
We've known where the money for compensation is. We've also made an order that you should make sure that the process moves faster. And then the other question is just go and visit those victims.
Okay, let me go to the last question of Honorable Babiku. Honorable Babiku Jessica, over the years, government has put emphasis on creating a policy framework to guide water for production services. The water for production policy came into force in 2018. Government is in advanced stages in the development of the irrigation master plan, which will be ready by the end of this year. The master plan will guide investments, appropriate systems and technologies, and sources of water for various parts of the country, including Adjumani district. However, some work has been done in that place, and many parts of the country that includes repair, irrigation schemes, construction of new schemes, and piloting different irrigation systems and technologies. Specifically, in Adjumani, government has done Ogaro irrigation scheme in Alinyach sub-county. Farmers were already harvesting crops, especially tomatoes, before the floods affected them. Now, repairs on the scheme are ongoing. This financial year, a valley tank for watering animals will be done in Mada, in Zait sub-county. Honorable Speaker, government has also secured funding. In fact, this is a loan from UK Export Finance for another irrigation scheme in Adjumani. However, the leadership in Adjumani has not agreed on the site. I encourage Honorable Babiku, who raised the question and the matter on the floor of Parliament, to help in generating consensus on the site for the work to commence. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next person.
Right,
Honorable Kelo Maruzi.
Honorable Speaker, allow me raise a supplementary question for clarity.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker and Right Honorable Prime Minister, my senior sister. I want to thank government for all the actions taken and for your quickest response. Right Honorable Speaker and Right Honorable Prime Minister, I request that you clarify on the components of this compensation, because we represent government in your fiscal absence in our districts. People have high expectations. Therefore, can we get to know whether the compensation is only going to be limited to livestock? People lost other properties. They lost lives, so that we shall be able to communicate that for now, government is only limiting itself to this. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker and Right Honorable Prime Minister, it's not true that we have disagreement. I was in touch with the LC5 this morning and the district cow. We don't have any disagreement. I'll request that I get to your office so that I am informed of other things. But for now, the district is ready for any project, and we are not aware about this. On the Ogolo irrigation scheme, we request that the government intervenes to provide access road. One of the challenges affecting that irrigation scheme, apart from the recent floods, is lack of access road, and that begins from Arinyaki Health Center 3 to Ogolo and to Pamajua. Thank you so much. Right,
Information. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker.
I want that answered. Attorney General, I want there are decided cases to the effect on compensation. Can you tell us what court ruled on compensation, say the one of Northern Uganda, the one of Teso, and of course that would set a precedent.
Honorable Speaker, I kindly request to get.
Can we have a legal opinion? Can we have information from the concerned people? Then you will speak.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I wish to appreciate the Prime Minister's effort in laying the information bare to everyone. One, the issue of compensation went to court in the early 2000s. The first case was around 2004. When government realized the magnitude and the problem at hand, the president asked that we settle those matters and we negotiate and see how best we can provide compensation for the people who were affected instead of merely going with a few that went to court. So in some cases, you have people who went to court, but the government's understanding and obligation was to cater for everyone who was affected, and we are strictly dealing with livestock. I remember early last year, there was a supplementary that was brought to the floor of this parliament of 30 billion, and it did not pass because one of the arguments was that the verification exercise had not been completed. This verification exercise has been ongoing for some time, but at some point, the legal officer who was heading this exercise in the Ministry of Justice, Mr. Oluka, died. So we constituted a fresh team to go on the ground, rely on the information he had gathered, and gather more. As we speak, Right Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Justice and the Attorney General's chambers, working with the districts in Lango, Teso, and Acholi, we got offices at the districts. We are gathering funds to send our officers at the districts. We have sent out lists of the people we consider to be verified. Those lists have been pinned at each and every sub-county in the districts of Teso, Lango, and Acholi. It's West Nile and Karamoja and Bukedi and parts of Busoga that we have recently brought on board, where the verification has not yet taken off. In the 3 sub-regions, the verification is ongoing. It is not yet complete, but it is ongoing. As we speak, we have a list of close to 100,000 people. We are yet to determine on whether to start paying those or we first conclude the verification fully. We are preparing a cabinet paper. You know that during campaigns, the president agreed to raise this money from 30 billion to 50 billion per sub-region. We are preparing a cabinet paper, and in this very financial year, the Ministry of Finance has budgeted 50 billion for the compensation exercise. So I wish to confirm what the Right Honorable Prime Minister has informed you, and to confirm further that the exercise, one, there is goodwill of the government. 2, the exercise is ongoing and it will be concluded as and when the money is available. But for this financial year, we have 50 billion that we intend to use for compensation. Thank you very much.
There was Ross.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, Rose Obiga, woman MP Terego. Honorable Speaker, it pains me, it hurts me so much. I escaped narrowly during the Kony insurgency. Greater Arua did not lose a single animal. We met Kony several times in buses, lorries, lost goods. I think the interest of our country should really go on human beings, other than hearing that we are starting with animal compensation. The families of these victims, those who perished and those who are crippled, are suffering. The suffering is untold. I kindly beg the Prime Minister to change her direction. And taking all this long not to touch on West Nile really tells me like West Nile seems to be forgotten. I'm begging to bring West Nile on
For
board.
your
Thank you.
information, there is no area which has, it's not West Nile alone, which has not gotten the compensation.
Yes.
The compensation is for both Eastern, Northern, West Nile. So for you to say that the West Nile is forgotten, that is being mean.
Information.
Yes, Brenda. Mark, then Brenda.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm very surprised that the minister, who has been following up very well the issue of cattle compensation, is today speaking in tongues. The Parliament, this House, actually Parliament passed 30 billion in supplementary. It was not suspended. Actually, the minister lobbied very, very strongly Parliament to allow the money to be passed. And he promised that some actions would be put in place. And I was happy to hear that some administrative setup has been done in the 3 sub-regions of Teso, Lango, and Acholi. However, right, Honorable Speaker, it's important that we should capture this information. During the campaign, the president passed through Teso, Lango, and Acholi, and he made a public statement which our people, our voters heard very clearly, that on top of the 10 billion which was already passed in supplementary, 50 billion would be added.
Honorable Lanya, you're disorganizing the House.
It's not 50 billion. Right, Honorable Speaker, it is not 50 billion for the budget of this year. It is 150 billion. 50 for Teso, 50 for Lango, and 50 for Acholi. So let the record be captured correctly. It's not 50 billion for this financial year. It is 150 as per the president's statement during the campaign. So let us have it very loud and clear.
Yes, Brenda, then Chemonges.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I have a supplementary question in regards to war compensation. Right Honorable Speaker, in 1986, the war in Luero ended, and this government came into power then, the NRA then. We've been demanding for compensation as the people of the Greater Luero region. I have never had any commitment from this government to compensate the people of Luero. But
Honorable Brenda, Luero is a special case.
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Bring it as a question on its own in the next, for the next House. Bring it as a question. William, then we go to the next.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues. Yamonges William, representing Queen County. Madam Speaker, I get surprised when I hear government talking about a conversation which is yet to go on without mentioning Sabay region. Madam Speaker, Sabay region, which comprises of Kapchorwa, Queen, and Buko, is the only region that suffered serious cattle rustling. And it's very true. If you go to Sabay, we lost a lot of, very many people. We lost cows, very many people are orphans. And during campaigns, the president told us we are part of the people to be compensated. But when I hear, and I've even heard from even the Attorney General, we Sabay are not listed anywhere. Can I get an answer for Sabay? In fact, it is a very serious issue.
Madam Prime Minister,
I beg submit.
I want you to capture the issue of Sabay. Sabay is not on war victims. It is on cattle rustlers. So we need a response.
Clarification,
to-
information,
Madam
Speaker.
Speaker,
We need a response to,
information.
to that.
Clarification,
in the
Madam
next-
Speaker.
In the next sitting, yes. Yes,
Thank you
Lydia.
very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Awad Silva Vicky. I am the woman MP for Nablatuk District. I am very surprised to hear from the Honorable Minister that verification is still ongoing on the issue of compensation of the animals. For Karamaja case, verification was done last financial year. Up to now, I don't know whether we are still on verification or we are talking about compensating the animals that were lost during the time that Hami decided to keep the animals under their custody. The Karamojong lost a lot of animals. So I am very surprised why the minister is still saying we are on verification. Until when?
Clarification,
Many-
Madam Speaker.
many- Attorney General, we need a clear information on compensation.
Information, Speaker.
Information, Honorable
Clarification,
Speaker.
Madam Speaker. Clarification.
I am still giving instructions which may benefit you. That you need to come to this house and present a report on how much each area is supposed to get, how far you've gone with the verification, and when do you expect to start paying the people. So, Attorney General, we need that information from you. And Dr. Apea, if it is still on compensation, it is. I have already given orders on compensation. Let's wait and get a feedback from Attorney General's chambers. Yes, next. Last question. Okello, Honorable Okello Nelson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me opportunity again. The issue I was raising concern when Kunye, Apaj, Lira, up to Koran Road, totaling to about 191 kilometers. This is a road which has been in a sorry state for over 30 years, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, but in 2020, His Excellency the President commissioned this road to be upgraded from Class C, Bravo Road, to Bituminous Road. Madam Speaker, work commenced, but slowly. As I talk now, work is not moving on, and the contractor is demobilizing equipment and shifting them to unknown destinations. Madam Speaker, very soon the community will protest. And I perused through the budget for the financial year 2021 to 2022. This road is not surfacing anywhere. My question now is, why is it that this road, which is traversing 6 districts of Kiriandongo, Apaj, Kwania, Kole, Lira, and Pade, is missing? Yet, even roads which are under design, they're also included among the 26 national roads under construction, totaling to about 1,746 kilometers.
Information, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Lango sub-region has the worst roads in Uganda. The Committee of Equal Opportunities last year provided data showing that we only have 12% of tarmac roads in Uganda. Most of our towns and cities are connected by Maram roads. And recently, the government
Excuse me, Honorable.
Yes, please.
Honorable Nelson has not finished his question.
I'm providing additional information to what the honorable member is talking about.
Under Rule 41(3), a question must be written and read as it is. The
Much
Prime
obliged.
Minister.
Much obliged, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My second question is that should we conclude that
Was,
this road is
was,
not a
was the
mandate?
second question also in writing?
Yes, this is in writing. Madam
Okay.
Speaker, on the same road. That we want to know whether now this road is not among the government priorities for funding.
Okay,
I'd like to submit.
thank you.
Thank you.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the Wekunye Apachirira Paranga Road, measuring to 191 kilometers, is one of the national roads selected for upgrading by government of Uganda as part of the third National Development Plan, NDP3. The road is part of the National Road Network, which is managed and maintained by Ministry of Works and Transport through the Uganda National Roads Authority, UNURA. The upgrading of the road is expected to improve access to Apache district and provide alternative route connecting Kampala to Lira City and Northern region at large. Madam Speaker and honorable members, the upgrading of Wekunye Apache Lira Paranga Road is funded by government of Uganda in collaboration with Islamic Development Bank. The upgrading of the road will be implemented in two phases. Lot 1 is Wekunye Apache, which is 90.9 kilometers. 2 is Apache Lira Paranga, 100 kilometers, 0.1. Honorable members, the contract for upgrading of Lot 1 Wekunye Apache, that is 90.1 kilometers, commenced on 7th December 2020 and expected to be completed by 6th December 2023. The contract lot number 2, Apache Lira Paranga, 101 kilometers, commenced on 14th December 2020 and is expected to be completed by 13th December 2023. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, one of the issues raised in the communication from Honorable Nelson was that the contractor has demobilized key equipment from the site and the progress of work is very slow. Honorable members, the two contractors, both for lots, are mobilized on site and are undertaking preliminary works. None of the contractors have demobilized key equipment from the site, and both the contractors are on track to complete the upgrading works within the planned time. However, because of COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected everything in the country and continues to affect the contractors' activities. Colleagues, another issue raised was that Wekunye Apache Lira Paranga Road, 191 kilometer, is not included in the budget for financial year 2021-2022 and is not among the government of Uganda priorities for funding. Honorable members, the funding for the upgrade of Wekunye Apache Lira Paranga, 191 kilometer, was secured for entire stretch of the project. The project is a priority. The priority for government of Uganda, as you know, NRM government, and is scheduled as a project number 1402, 1402 in the budget of financial year 2021-2022. I commend the NRM government for this. Colleagues, I would like to assure you colleagues and all honorable members in this parliament that Wekunye Apache Lira Faranga Road 191 kilometer is a part of the government priorities and is included in the NDP3. That the funding for the upgrade of this strategic project were secured from our development partners at Islamic Development Bank, and funds have been allowed for in the budget financial year 2021-2022. The upgrading works are ongoing, and the Ministry of Works and Transport through Uganda National Roads Authority will ensure that the contractors remain mobilized on site and fulfill all the contractual obligations. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, government is committed to contributing to the national transformation as set out in the NDP3. The Rwekunye Apache Lira Palanga Road, which is 191 kilometers, is one of the projects identified in the NDP3, and the government is committed to ensuring that the road is completed as scheduled. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Honorable Dorcas. Achen Dorcas. Ale Butong.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, and Right Honorable Prime Minister. It's a brief one. Aware that the Sustainable Development Goals, I call to action to promote prosperity while protecting our Mother Earth, and also looking at the current climate change and environmental protection challenges, such as drought and also floods, which we are currently grappling with. And we know that this has resulted into looming famine in most parts of the country, including Lango sub-region and Aleptong district where I come from. We want to understand what the policy strategies the government has put in place to cushion the economy and also build economic growth and development while addressing these needs we are currently struggling with as Ugandans, instead of just waiting and putting off the fire. But we know that we need to be prepared in advance. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorcas. Prime Minister.
Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, thank you, Honorable Dorcas. Honorable colleagues, environmental degradation and climate change are indeed a major threat to Uganda's sustainable development. The government of Uganda is committed to mitigating the effects and the challenges of these threats. To start with, Uganda has a climate change policy developed in the year 2015 that is intended to guide all climate change activities and interventions towards a resilient and low carbon development path. There also exists a National Environment Act enacted in 2019, and early this year, Parliament passed the Climate Change Bill, which is awaiting approval by His Excellency the President. This provides for development of climate change action plans and structures up to lower local governments, including Aleptong district. The government has also developed a green growth development strategy for the period 2018-2030 and an implementation roadmap. And this includes the priorities in each sector, targets and timelines. The current National Development Plan 3 provides a host of strategies and interventions to be implemented in the year 2025. Following the identification of environment among the three accelerators for SDGs, in addition to governance and industrialization, the entire NDP 3 program 9 has been designed focusing on natural resources, environment, climate change, land, and water management. This provides key interventions, honorable colleagues, resources for cushioning the economy and ensuring resilience, growth, and development. It is also important to note that it is now a requirement for all government agencies, including ministries and local governments, to mainstream environment and climate change in their plans and budgets. This then implies a district like Areptong must have its plans and related budgets capture key environmental and climate change concerns and have them addressed. Responsible agencies are working on a mechanism to track and ensure that compliance to this requirement for mainstreaming is adhered to. Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I want to thank you and thank our members for submitting their questions in time and giving the answers when a question is submitted in time is the right way to go. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to implore our colleagues, honorable members, for me, my office is open to you. Whenever you feel you need to ask anything, I am in the office. And sometimes I have lunch in the parliamentary chambers. And that is really a friendly manner. We can chat within the parliament. You can come to my office. My office is open to everybody. Other than waiting for this time to ask the questions, sometimes we can get these answers before we even come to the floor of parliament. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Prime Minister, for fulfilling your duty under the rules of procedure. And members, next time bring the questions early enough for us to give the Prime Minister to prepare for the answers. Next.
Item number 5, statement of government business.
Sorry, the leader of opposition.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Prime Minister, I want to thank you for the endeavor you have made to make responses to the questions that were raised. But, Madam Minister, Prime Minister, yours, according to the rules, you are supposed, it is shall provide written responses copied to the relevant member. You should not lot it over to the clerk because you have very many officers who hold a brief for you. Let there be a mechanism that should give these answers or responses in advance. That a member comes and may not even raise a supplementary question. The question like the one raised by the Honorable Kawalia is merely backlash that has been triggered by the utterances of His Excellency the President condemning and demonizing the Maryland tenure system, which is resident in this particular sub-region that has the Kingdom of Uganda. And you are likely to get an avalanche of many of such questions. And it was not accorded justice because he was raising the question of Milo Kenda, I mean, the 900 miles, 9,000 miles, and then the 15,000 about the forest and then the accumulated areas which have never been paid. You took us all through the acts of the institutions of traditional and cultural leaders act. Those provisions, those sections do not infringe on any rights, including the land tenure system. But those utterances, this is just an act that is operationalizing Article 246 of the Constitution. It's very innocent. The other question by the Honorable Paparo Lillian is a valid question. We actually know of a fund in the local government called the Startup Fund. That fund is meant for those local government headquarters, whether it's district or sub-county or town council. That fund is provided by the ministry to commence construction and of course the eventual relocation and eventual settlement into the new headquarters. So it is not about waiting for the district council to sit and make a council resolution before such a fund can be dispatched to the account of the respective local government. The Honorable Ababiku raised a question which, to my dismay, has taken a donkey years to conclude. Compensation, including restocking in the regions that have been mentioned, is taking rather too long. And by the way, it is generating even more questions. Because Ruero now has looming questions for next week. So when will government do a service to her own pledges that are made and never honored at all? In fact, this restocking issue, if you bring in the Bay, even Bugisu, I'm wondering why Bugisu is missing out in action on this. Because if it is about the challenges that we grappled with of cattle rustling, even the atrocities committed by the Lord's Resistance Army had a spillage, they spilled over to Bugisu, Soroti, all the Teso sub-region, Bugisu sub-region, Sebei, Bukedi, Busoga.
Now, summarize your response.
Yeah, I'm about to conclude, Madam Speaker, but this is something which I must say it is an omission on the part of the Right Honorable Prime Minister to leave out Bugisu and Sebei among the beneficiaries of the restocking program, because it has already been pledged even by His Excellency the President. We only await implementation of the same. Lastly, Madam Speaker, this question on climate change and the environmental degradation by the Honorable Dockers is a very important one, because this is a global challenge, but as a country, we must be seen to walk the talk. The minister has stated in her response that, which I salute, that they are going to ensure that MDS, ministries, departments and agencies, and even local governments mainstream the cross-cutting issues of climate change and the environment in their work plans and budgets. But this is not the first time such directives are made and are never implemented at all. We have seen cancellation of land titles in wetlands, a ban on polythene papers. All these are responsible for global warming, and of course it starts from home here. But all these are not implemented. It is preaching water, but drinking wine on part of the office of the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and so to speak, the government of NRM. Thank you, Right Honorable Prime Minister. Right
Thank
Honorable
you,
Speaker.
thank you. With Leader of Opposition, when you talk about these things of climate change, most of them are on the degradation. You find everybody cutting, including in your village. And as you say, let's walk the talk. If I could ask, out of the members of parliament here, how many trees have you planted in your area? Let's walk the talk. So as we go out there, we should walk the talk. It's not about the government or whatever, because NRM will not come and plant trees in your village. There was a request from, in the last sitting, from Honorable Abel Bwanika, the MP of Kimanya Division, Kimanya, on the disbursement that has been made to Masaka district. That document was supposed to be laid on table. Honorable Minister of Local Government, can you lay it on table?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, on Thursday, 22nd July 2021, in response to the question, as you pointed out, by Honorable Abed Wanika, Member of Parliament, Kimanya Kabonera Division, you directed government to lay on table the approved budget for the local governments, including Masaka City, and the details of the first quarter budget release to the local governments for financial year 2021-22. Right, Honorable Speaker, I have the submission dated 27th July 2021, approved budget and first quarter expenditure limits to local governments for financial year 2021-22, signed by Honorable Matia Kasaija, Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. Accordingly, I beg to lay on table the approved budget and first quarter expenditure limits to local governments for financial year 2021-22. I beg to lay.
Thank you, Honorable. Can we go to the last item? Second last item?
Item number 5, statement of government business of the succeeding week.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, under Rule 28 of the Rules of Procedure, requires the leader of government business to make a statement in the House regarding the government business of the succeeding week. I'm therefore submitting the following business for the succeeding week. I will do it on 2nd, 2018. 1, the motion for resolution of Parliament to thank His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda for the eloquent and precise exposition of government policy contained in the statement of the National Address to Parliament of the Republic of Uganda on Friday, 4th June 2021. I will also lay on table a legislative program for the financial year 2021-2022. That Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you, Right Honorable Prime Minister, honorable members. The Prime Minister has given us a notice of the business that the government intends to introduce next week. Please read the State of Nation address, members, so that we can be able to have a meaningful debate.
I will allocate time for debate after consultation with the whips. And consultation with the whips is meant to do one thing, to allow everybody to talk. You find when you're here, you cannot see the people who are behind there. So I would request the whips that you take note of that. Get the members. If people are behind, if the members are behind there, you should be able to give me the names for members to express their positions on the state of national address. So I'll get the names from you, the whips. Even if everybody is to speak, we'll give it the whole week. Yes.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Right Honorable Prime Minister for stating the business of the coming week. But the practice has always been, especially if we are to deliberate on the state of the national address by His Excellency the President, copies of the same ought to be circulated to members through their pigeonholes. Up to now, we have not seen any copy.
Right Honorable Speaker, the President made the speech to the Parliament of Uganda, and the copy was given to the clerk of the Parliament of Uganda. So I hope the clerk to share copies with members. I thank you.
Clerk, if the document has not been received by members, can we have the members receive the documents before the end of tomorrow, so that they will use the weekend to read the document?
Item 7, responses by ministers to urgent questions. 7, Roman 1, response on the roaming drought in Lango sub-region.
Member, Clerk, can we push that to next week? I suggest that we push it to next week, because most of the members have sent their apologies. They are in the field. We said we want an action-oriented minister.
Item 8, adjournment.
Honorable members, I want to appreciate your resilience and patience for being in the house amidst this rain. I know it's cold, but I want to thank you so much. And I wish you a blessed evening. The session has been adjourned.